The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Oops. Yeah, you're not perfect. Who'd wanna be with us? And no, you don't deserve this. You're worth what is worthless. Whoa, 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 whoa. Love hurts. I see you through the light. With no filter, I lose you in the night. And days, I love you all the time. No filter, yeah, I see you through the light. Turning away as the sun hits your face and it burns like shame. I feel so exhausted. I'm holding your hair back, you're digging your nails and you're cursing my name. Whoa, 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 whoa. Love hurts. I see you through the light. No filter, I lose you in the night. And days, I love you all the time. No filter, yeah, I see you through the lights. I loved you more than I had anybody. Trust me, baby. But you'll never know me that way. Till you learn to love yourself. I see you through the light. No filter, I lose you in the night. And I love you all the time. No filter, yeah, I see you through the light. I see you through the light. No filter, I lose you in the night. And I love you all the time. No filter, yeah, I see you through the lights.
That's fantastic. That is Bao. And hey, everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. Powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look on a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful gentleman based in beautiful downtown Los Angeles. He just played No Filter from the Perpetual Heartbreak release, and Perpetual indeed, and Perpetual does. He was just absolutely fantastic, and he's got a great story that tells. He's a visual artist since childhood, a former lead singer of Ming and Ping. He does exhibits in Los Angeles, New York, Houston, and Miami. He's got a science degree in environmental design from the Art Center College of Design, and he just has a great story to tell. And live, ladies and gentlemen, from his beautiful plush studio in downtown Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, the very super and ultra uber creative talented Bao Vo. Bao, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
What an intro. Thank you so much.
Oh, you just play with passion that one with No Filter from Perpetual Heartbreak. And you've been a visual artist since childhood. You've been a musician for quite a while. You were the former lead singer of Ming and Ping. You got exhibits in LA, New York City, Houston, Miami, and a science degree in environmental design. And you just have just an amazing collection. And before we get into all that, tell us how you first got started.
I was a kid. I was born. I've been a visual artist all of my life, pretty much. And I think the thing about me as a musician is that I've been straddling those two worlds for as long as I can remember. And I went to art school and dropped out, got really depressed. And that's when I started a band called Ming and Ping, which is like synth pop, electronic pop music, very 80s inspired. And that caught on, so which gave me a few opportunities to have my music showcased on, promotional advertisements for a few brands, and allowed me to play with a lot of really cool other artists, and tour parts of the country I would have not been able to see otherwise. I mean, while doing music. And during this entire time, I've been a design creative director for a couple of design agencies in marketing and technology. And so, like I said, I've been straddling those two worlds. But this year, I'm going full-time into music, and I'm very grateful for you to give me a chance to show off the music.
And it's amazing to have you on as well. And my question is, you talk about straddling between design and music, and how do you manage to keep the two together? And are there any thoughts of combining the two into what you're doing into one career, design and music, and make it into one? Any possibility on that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I plan on doing starting now. And I'll also be creating a lot of content on YouTube and other medium that is visually based. And so it'll give me a chance to exercise my musical skills as well as, creating artwork and designing the merchandise for the music and any of the video stuff that I end up doing. What I really want to do, though, Mike, is to talk to people like me who straddle both worlds, visual and musical arts, and maybe show them a little bit of how I approach music using the language and the vocabulary of a visual artist. And I think there's so many people like me, but there's not that much content for them.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like a brand new genre that's about to come out, and you appear to be one of the first. And of course, I have to say, it just sounds very amazing. And what was that one moment that precisely influenced you into doing music and also going into music full time? So what was that one precise moment that says, hey, I'm going to do music?
It's kind of a pretty hardcore story. I had toured with Ming and Ping for a few years. And one day I was kind of at the end of my agency career, kind of getting burned out on that whole thing. And I got an email from a random fan, I guess, and they told me that a fan emailed and said his best friend had passed away in one of the fires in Prescott, Arizona, and he was an elite firefighter who tried to battle the fire there, and he passed away along with, I think, 12 other firefighters. And what he told me was that Ming and Ping's music defined an entire summer for them, and a lot of their childhood growing up together. And I realized almost every memory that I have has some kind of soundtrack tied to it, right? Entire high school career, or various meaningful relationships and friendships has some kind of soundtrack tied to it. And I realized how immediate and profound the connection is between music and somebody's life, something that I wasn't able to do in my visual arts career, because a lot of times it requires kind of some training and some vocabulary to understand visual art. But music, you just hear it at the grocery store and you feel it right away.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like the thing with Ming and Ping is pretty much based on your life story from childhood up to now. And Perpetual Heartbreak, it almost sounds like the same thing, like with Ming and Ping. And maybe you can just tell us a bit more about Perpetual Heartbreak.
Yeah, so my upcoming album, it's coming out on October 9th, called Perpetual Heartbreak. And I decided to go with that theme for my album because, 2020 and a couple of years leading up to 2020 have been an emotional barrage, I guess. And I wrote a few new songs, and one of them had a lyric that said "Perpetual Heartbreak." And I was like, God, that's such a powerful image. Like, you're feeling so hard over and over and over. That's okay. I want to encourage people to do that and not, hide from those feelings. And so that inspired me to pull up a few older songs and demo songs that I had already written and kind of produce them to all fit together. So Perpetual Heartbreak as the end result was sort of this surreal collage of emotional, dreamlike images into this one collection of songs that are extremely personal to me. And, they touch on a few topics that I really care about, which interpersonal relationships, mental health, and I always return to the idea of personal identity and cultural identity. Growing up as a Asian American immigrant, a Vietnamese American immigrant, I've always had those things encountered in my life, and they mean a lot to me. And so quite a few of the songs touch on those topics.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the topics you touch on in your album?
Definitely that idea of kind of being an outsider and not clearly having your identity defined in a normal way. I think for a lot of us who grow up in this country, the United States, as an immigrant, the culture was not designed for us, right? For example, Mike, when I introduce myself to certain people, I say my name is Bao. When I think of my name in my brain, it's Bao, and it has that question mark sound, and that's a Vietnamese accent that completely changes the meaning of the word.
Okay.
And so having to sacrifice that Bao sound as a child to, say, my teachers, just to make it easier for them to call on me during class or whatever, I didn't realize how big of an effect those tiny things had on my life until I was a little older. And so I touch on that idea of having to negotiate your identity and your culture with your surrounding environment quite a bit in these songs. No Filter, I just played you, touches on some really sensitive topics with, me formerly being in a relationship that I eventually realized was, unhealthy and abusive. And I was just reflecting on how confusing and such a maelstrom during that experience. And you really can't see clearly until you make a lot of effort to pull yourself out of that. So it's kind of, how would you say, it's heavy stuff.
Right. It does sound pretty heady, and I was going to ask you as well, too. You touched upon your Vietnamese upbringing. Now, when did you guys immigrate to the United States from the Vietnamese area?
We came in the mid-'80s. My mother and her 5 children. I'm the youngest of 5. And so she raised us as a single parent. She went through the entire immigration process as a single parent. And so she definitely is the biggest inspiration in my life. And whatever story I have to tell, I really do owe it to her strength and tenacity and courage.
Mm-hmm. And also, growing up in the Vietnamese area before coming to the States, what was it like for you growing up before coming to the States?
That's a really great question, Mike. I have a song on the album called Far Away, and it talks about how my memories and my experience as a Vietnamese person is kind of reconstructed from storytelling and images that I, created based on secondhand knowledge mostly, because growing up as a child in Vietnam, I think I was too young to have firsthand memories then. And even if I did, I don't really know whether those are real memories or not. So to recount kind of experience of your identity being kind of secondhand, second person, I guess, stories and kind of reconstructing, it feels dreamlike. I know a lot of people have very concrete memories of their childhood, and I don't. Stories from your parents or your elders, like all of those things make up my personal history. And then for me, I feel like I'm an American, like purely.
And it sounds like your story pretty much resonates with a lot of people trying to fit in with today's society and everything else. And do you think social media also makes it easier for people to relate or to get along, or is it the same, or is it more difficult?
Wow, that is an excellent question. I think it gives everybody more opportunities to share their perspectives. And, if you hear stories about people, celebrities, it also opens up all of the channels to get bombarded with all sorts of opinions, like unsolicited opinions. And so I'm really grateful that, and I encourage, people like me to share their stories in an unvarnished way, but also be ready for the reaction and be ready to kind of field those questions. But the big thing to remember, I think, is that we're all kind of jumping into this experience without prior experience. So everything's new, and how you react, you're still learning to react to bullies online or really rabid, fanatic people who love your work or your story. And so to navigate that whole process is, I think, brand new to everyone. So take it easy on yourself, I think.
Mm-hmm. And that's a very good point, too. We'll talk more about perpetual heartbreak with Bao Vo. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here as singer-songwriter songwriter, very talented. Bao Vo here on the Mike Wagner Show. And not only he's a multi-talented singer-songwriter, he is also a visual artist since childhood and working on putting the two together to make a very unique genre. Before we talk about more about your Perpetual Heartbreak and also a little bit about your visual arts career, who are some of your favorite artists, singers, and musicians growing up?
My absolute musical idol is probably Prince. He's the most diverse virtuoso as far as musicianship. But what I really admire is how vulnerable his creative product is. He really puts himself, whether it be a fictional story or whatever, he acts out the emotion. And sometimes you really feel like he's really pouring his heart out into that stuff. And so, that alone combined with his broad range of like styles and instrumentation, I just really admire Prince quite a bit. And you could probably hear that in a lot of my music.
Oh, yes. And I think you've got the potential to do that. And who are some of your favorite artists and musicians growing up, and also some of your major influences?
I think most recently I've been really enamored with Anthony Bourdain. When I watch his show, I sense pure humanity. I see him engaging humans on, a very personal and honest level. And if you didn't watch the show and pay attention to it, you would just think it's a food and travel show, right? But I feel like creatively, he's one of the most impactful artists or creatives in my lifetime. And I really admire the impact that he's had on people being able to open up their hearts to other cultures and open up their minds to other types of people.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like what you're looking for these days and the message you're trying to get out. And it sounds very unique that you have music out there along with you tying with the visual, and also people just opening up to what you're expressing, your feeling, and everything else. And also there's another thing, too, about Perpetual Heartbreak. Tell us about some of your other songs in the album you like to talk about.
Sure, yeah. There's one song that is, I would classify it as kind of a space disco stylistically. So, I had written some pretty dark lyrics that touch on like self-destructive behavior. And collaborating with two of my friends, Taylor Sheckett and another artist called Sunrise Transparence, and they put together this beautiful, weird disco track, and they sent that to me to work with. And this was during the Black Lives Matter protest, like during the really hardcore part of that timeline. And while we were working on that, the lyrics began to morph, and the way that I sung the lyrics began to change. And it ended up being more of a commentary on the self-destructive behavior of this country, the United States. How it feels like sometimes one part of the body is attacking another part of the body, and everyone loses. Everybody gets hurt. And so that song is called "Burn It Down," and I think for me the core message of "Burn It Down" is that maybe sometimes it's okay to kind of start over and accept your losses, and really think about a bigger, more structural change.
Mm-hmm. It sounds amazing, too. Where can we find Perpetual Heartbreak at?
The album you can pre-order. You can see all of the various links associated with our album at perpetualheartbreak.com. Or you can learn about me at heyitsbao.com. And Bao is spelled B-A-O, like that dumpling movie from a couple years ago.
Oh, Bao, yeah. Or you think about a dog, Bow Wow Wow.
That's right. There's been a lot of different interpretations of my name and pronunciations. And so I like to remind people to spell it B-A-O rather than, autocorrect will change it to B-O-A.
Oh, yeah. Don't you love autocorrect where you type, I'm going to lose my, well, I'm not going to get into it. And would you like to play another one for us?
That's actually all I have for you today on the guitar.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I think you might want to play a little more too, but we got a few more minutes with Bao Vo and find out what's coming up for him with a great future. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here, singer, songwriter, musician, very creative Bao Vo here on the Mike Wagner Show. And just a couple of things here. And we're looking forward to what you have. And what do you have planned for coming up in 2021 and beyond? What can we expect from you?
Well, like I told you, I'm going to create a few different series of video content. One of them was just talking about music making from the perspective of somebody who comes from the visual arts world. I'm going to throw a few things out there and see what catches on as far as video concepts. But the reason I wasn't able to play another song for you is I'm setting up my music studio right now to actually accommodate video streaming as well as audio, so that I can actually do more performances from there. 2021, I would really, really love to work with a lot more creative talent in the music world and other types of talent, visual arts as well. And specifically, I'd love to work with the Asian American media in terms of maybe score a movie or a short film. And do more kind of motion picture related stuff. I had a chance to do that earlier last year, and it was a really great experience to work on a film and a small mobile game as well.
Oh, wow.
So that's definitely on my radar, and if your listeners want to look me up, I'd appreciate just randoms hitting me up.
Oh, my gosh. You know what? You mentioned about movie soundtracks. You've been involved in or just about in doing mobile games. What are some of your favorite movie soundtracks that you enjoyed, or some of your favorite movies growing up?
So my absolute favorite movie soundtrack is probably Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which was composed by John Bryan, who's one of my favorite producers. John Bryan, I discovered in the late 90s when he produced the first couple of Fiona Apple albums. And since then, everything he's put out, from Eels to Mac Miller to his various soundtracks, have just been exactly my vibe.
And I'm looking forward to what you got in terms of movie soundtracks, mobile games, and everything else. I mean, you're just being creative and expanding all over. We love to have you back on and give us more on that and more of insight. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career, Bao?
My biggest influence is probably my mother. She has always said, hey, if that's what you want to do, I'm going to support you. Like, being an artist is scary, right? Most Asian parents want their child to do something more, with a lot more certainty, more stability.
Right, I know what you mean. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and my mom said, that's what you're good at, that's what you're in love with. I'm going to work my butt off to give you what you need to make this happen. And so she's my absolute hero. She's made all of this possible, and I'm very, very grateful.
That is very amazing. You know, we love to have moms like yours. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
I think I'm going to recycle a piece of advice that I got from an old school producer called Trevor Beach. He told me when I was in my 20s, no one's going to help you unless you ask for help. And immediately after he told me that, I asked him if he can introduce me to his publishing company, and he did. And they've helped me ever since for the last over a decade. And so I think that's really great advice. I would love to help more people as well. And I think you just have to ask and be sincere and express gratitude, I think.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the most important thing. Once again, Bao Vo here on the Mike Wagner Show. You've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for your time. We look forward to having you back on soon. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you, where can people purchase or check out your music?
Mike, thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on and spending time with me. My name is Bao, spelled B-A-O. You can find my website at heyitsbao.com. My upcoming album is called Perpetual Heartbreak, and you can find that at perpetualheartbreak.com. Either website will work. And it'll come out on October 9th. It's a 14-track album. It feels like a Michel Gondry or a David Lynch movie with weird scenes stitched together, and it's a cool, surreal experience.
It sounds like it. Once again, Bao, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2020 and beyond as well in 2021. You've been great. Just keep in touch. Love having you back.
I absolutely will, Mike. Thank you so much.
And all the ugly try, 'cause you won't fly. You just watch the show like a black crow. You just watch the show like a black crow.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.